Scene 1, Apple, take 1.
Hello, today we have the Cheerson CX33. CX33 is a pretty decent flying vehicle. I don't know if you would call it a quadcopter or a tricopter because of the 6 props that it has, but it is pretty cool. Now, one of the things that it features that I really don't like is it has this one key takeoff and landing. So you push the one key here to take off, and then you would press this key to land, because when you the throttle is spring loaded, so when you try to land it, you're only going to go so far. And then if you fly in the field a lot like I do, when you hit the one key landing, a lot of times it'll come down, and if the grass is a little tall, the props will get, at least the bottom ones start getting up in the grass, and then it'll kind of like tip over a little bit. So I think that's a feature that should be an option. Another feature that I don't like about this thing is how tight the battery fit is. Now, when you open this thing here, of course your camera attaches like most other cameras do, but now your battery, it plugs in here in this little slot there. But what happens is when you go to close it, I think what they should have done, especially since you've got all these wires like really crammed in there, let you take a look at that. I mean, there's literally barely enough room for that battery, especially if it starts to swell. But had they made this thing with like a little groove here, which I think I might just go ahead and cut one in there, for some of the batteries to kind of at least hang out, I think that actually would have been a great feature. Because what you're going to find is that when you go to close this, if you don't have that battery in just right, and I've actually popped the camera off a couple of times trying to hold this thing, and you got to kind of like turn that thing to there we go. You got to get this thing right here to keep the battery bay closed. So again, quick modification that I'm thinking about doing is maybe cutting into this body, cutting a little groove here for the wires to hang out more comfortably and for this to be more secure. Those are the only features that I really wasn't happy with. Other than that, I think this thing is really cool. Oh yeah, and one more thing I didn't like is that it only came in white. So another modification that I plan to do is take this thing apart, and I'm thinking about painting it a combination of colors, like you know, like a black and a fluorescent green or something, because I think then this thing will look really menacing. And again, this is a high definition camera, and it did take some really good pics. If I'd known, I wouldn't have been going so fast, you know, because I would have took more scenic pics. But I was just zipping around the park with this thing, and when I got home, I was really pleased with just how well the quality was on a camera for something like this. Now for the good things. The flight is really great, and another thing that I really liked about this was how bright the lights were. And I'm going to actually do a separate video on the night flight alone. But the lights in this thing are extremely bright. You got the little tail lights in the back. I thought that was pretty cool. I mean, this thing, you know, out of all the birds that I've had, I just really enjoyed the... here, let me see if I can cut this light out. And I mean, you know, it's still daylight, you know, and I've got the garage door open, and this thing is just so bright. But that is another good feature I like about it, and I do like the way it flies once you get it in the air. Okay, let's take her out to the field. Okay, let's take her up for a flight. Now to take this one off, you got to press this up button here. So we're going to press that button, and she's going to take off on her own, although I'd rather do it myself. All right. Okay, let's take a look at that camera. That's a pretty decent speed. She doesn't seem to fly too bad. We've got winds out here of, I'd say about 4 to 5 miles an hour. Maybe a gust of 6. This is the first time I've had this thing for a while, but I never really got around to bringing her out. And, you know, she appears to fly pretty decent. But she does pick up. She picks up really well. Not bad. To hover pretty well. Look at this. That's not bad. She's holding her hover really well. I'm really shocked at that. You would think it had altitude hold or something on it. Look at that. Yeah, she's holding that on her own, man. I like that. If they would allow you to have better control over the takeoff and land, I think this would be like really great. And if it came in you know, more of a variety of colors, I'd say. But other than that, this is not a bad piece here to have on your collection. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and hit that button and land. We hit the button and she's landing. What I don't like about it, because I really wanted to land on that little square right there, because when you're in the field, she just lands on her own. Let's cut this camera off here. Hang on. Yeah, she just lands, and I don't like that. Well, anyway, the CX-33. Put my back to the sun. Thanks for watching.